are still people in the other room? Do you need to be summoned? सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। The gradations of Ananda, starting from, what does it start from? Huh? From this young fellow, yeah, various quantifications of Ananda. From this young fellow, the ideal typical measure of human Ananda, 1 unit, mind you, correct? So this is just a starting. For us, where one is, that may seem like the ultimate, to own everything in this universe. It's the corporate dream, right? Yeah. You own everything in this universe and then nothing more to aspire. That is the end point. But from the point of view of the cosmic various lokas, this is the beginning, starting point. Sadhu Yuva, 1 unit. And then what do? You do what you know best. Multiply that by 100. And then you get the Ananda of the lower rung celestials. Mind you, the idea is that which is enjoyed by the Manushya Gandharva and then Deva Gandharva and then Pitranam, Chiraloka Lokanam and then Ajan Ajanam and then Karma Devas and then Indra, Prajapati, Brihaspati, etc. Each one is mutually exclusive, correct? Yeah. So Indra's Ananda, of course, is starting from the human unit of the ideal typical Ananda up to Indra's Ananda he can enjoy, correct? But beyond that he cannot. This is what we have to understand. That is mutually exclusive of the next level. Then Prajapati will have all the Anandas plus Indra's Ananda but not Brihaspati's Ananda. This is how we have to see. This is the gradation. And this is what causes, this is what causes everyone to buy Pepto-Bismol, because it causes heartburn, because I'm not enjoying the next level, I'm only stuck at this level. And all the marketing people also make use of this. How do they make use of this? Because this is an incentive. Always there is something to aspire to. Starting with even this frequent flyer minds, there is always the next level. Next level, and then after that you cannot, after that what? Then you say, choose a different airline. That's that may have more levels. So this whole level thing is designed to, from where the human being, the individual jiva sits, is designed to underscore this feeling of I am not enough. Correct. Yeah. And the corporate people know this very well. They know very well how to take advantage of the notion that one feels incomplete. They will underscore that incompletion. They will reiterate it in all these marketing ploys. If you do this, you will feel better. And that's why all the gadgets now have I attached to it, because without that you are incomplete. Now first it was, what is that? iMac. Yeah, it started with iMac. Mac itself is I, yeah. And then after that iPod, iPhone, iPad, without which I sad, I mad, this is what it is. So and they very slowly, they don't want to take the place of the I. That's why they use a small I, because they don't want to take your place. But that small I is so ubiquitous, it is everywhere, and then it just permeates and then replaces the I really. This is the problem. This is what is the problem of alienation, which we are going to come to soon. And because of this problem, what happens is that there is the sense of self is spread thin. It is spread all over, at least in the ancient times. That's why I question this progress, this so-called progress, because at least in the ancient time it was confined to, my village, my kinship network, my community, my family, maybe my cattle. This is how it was, dogs, cats, cattle, this is horses. This is where the I was, there. Now the I is in all kinds of gadgets smaller than the thumb. That's why it's called thumb drive, yeah. First it was Angushtamatra Purusha, Madhye Atmanidishtati. Now this Angushta means thumb. So first you say thumb size Bhagavan, you visualize, And now you cannot even say that, because especially if you are doing it with young adults, they will always be, thinking of thumb drives and all these things. You have to think of some other metaphors. This is a problem. So then, first we think of Bhagavan that permeates everywhere. Thumb size in the heart chamber, you say that, metaphorically in the chest cavity, you visualize and meditate upon this Bhagavan, and now, Everything is small, small gadgets. They look small, they look insignificant. Like that small, what is that called? They put in cameras, that even in this one it is there.
SD card.
Yeah, SD card. Yes, my God. Tiny, looks so harmless, without which nobody has any information. All the passwords are stored there, all the memories are stored there, and everything is there. And if you lose that, gone. Yeah. This is what the problem is. Just because it looks small and harmless, looks are deceiving. And so here too, the topic of Ananda, even in the level of the cosmic description, see, that's why it is so timeless. The Upanishad is so timeless. It shows very clearly how the person can get away from oneself by aspiring for the next level of Ananda without, understanding that I am the source of all that. That I am the refrain. What is the refrain? Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya. I am that. Without understanding that, if I keep aspiring to climb this, corporate ladder of Ananda, the social ladder of Ananda, the cultural ladder of Ananda, that is not the way. Because there will always be somebody who appears to have more than you. This is what it is. Now, yesterday I told you that Adi Shankara, in his commentary on this section, has a slightly different interpretation. We're going to look into that. He says that he comments particularly on this section, Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya, because that is the one that occurs repeatedly. And he has an interpretation of why it occurs repeatedly. There is a reason, he says. He says that as you enjoy more, and it's a very user-friendly interpretation, that is why I want to discuss it. He says, as you enjoy more Vairagya. First of all, can Vairagya be enjoyed? Yes. Yeah. Yes, because there is more freedom. Yeah. Vairagya is a very enjoyable thing, as it turns out, because the less you want and the less you need, the more you are free with everybody and everything around you. It's very enjoyable. So as you enjoy greater levels of Vairagya, you are open to greater levels of Ananda, he says that. So the first Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya, it is a very low level, The person has attended one class, maybe half a retreat. What about the other half? Sleeping, and so, in the beginning stages, where it is difficult to give up, one is wondering, how did I get even here? And one is, even the body is sitting in the retreat, but then the mind is, retreating elsewhere. Yeah, mind has retreated to other realms of worry, concerns, fears, desires. The mind is wandering all over the place, And so at that level, the Vairagya that one commands is what at best can be called baby Vairagya, correct? Yeah, infantile Vairagya. Now there, now not there. By the time you look for it, it's gone. This is that Vairagya. And sometimes that Vairagya is also the Vairagya that brings one to the knowledge, meaning nothing else is working. Yeah? And then we have an expression, the grape is sour. What is grape? Grapes. Sour grapes, yeah. That is, that comes from this, the Grimm's fairy tale. Yeah. And actually, it's very interesting. Sometimes, the names of the authors are very appropriate. These Grimm's fairy tales are extremely grim. Yeah. Each one more frightening than the other, and then you look at them and you say, how can you tell these stories to children, really? And then we worry that our Puranas are violent. This is nothing, So in this Grimm, one of these fairy tale, there is this story of this young fox who is seeing the grape vines and nice luscious grapes hanging, organic, pesticide free. You have to say all this to make it more alluring. And tasty. And then the fox thinks that it is just one jump away. And animals are very, they have their own self-consciousness. They don't like to see anyone fail. And if you've ever been around a cat, if supposing they are supposed to land on their feet, supposing it misses, it will pretend to lick itself and clean itself like nothing happened, They don't want to be shown in a compromising position in any way. They want to be on top of everything. They also have a certain self-image to upkeep and maintain, And so through this fox thinks, it's just one jump. Jumps. And since it's a young fox, still a little puppy fox, it's not able to make it. And it says a few other jumps. Keeps on jumping, keeps on jumping, keeps on jumping. Gets tired. And then the vineyard is full of, they have arranged a tour of the vineyard, so everybody has come. And then in front of the people, it doesn't want to make a fool of itself and jump. And then it walks away. Vairagya. This is what I'm trying to illustrate, okay? I don't get lost in the story. It walks away, and what does it say while it walks away? Sour grapes. Who wants these grapes anyway? Who said they are sweet? They are very sour. I don't want them. Correct? So I don't want them. Where does this, this buddhi come from? Because I can't have it. Yeah. If I could have it, nobody will say I don't want it. Will say, give me more. Next grape also I'm going to jump and get. But here this is out of reach. Permanently out of reach. Because of karmic residues from other lives. Yeah. So karma makes certain things out of reach. And the same karma always puts you next to the person who is easily getting them all the time. To rub it in a little more, Yeah. So this karma makes everything out of reach. And the person who has for lifetime after lifetime jumping, like this fox. Jumping, not getting एक lifetime हो गया. Then jumping, नहीं मिला. Next lifetime चले गया. Then jumping, third lifetime, jumping. This jumping jiva, not jumping jack. Yeah. This jumping jiva after several failed attempts, either in this life or propelled by disappointments in either this life or other lives, gets a sudden bout of vairagya. And that has that is like a beginning level, and that is to be distinguished from the real vairagya that we are talking about. So the Upanishad has a name for this kind of vairagya. It is called Shmashana Vairagya. Shmashana means funerary ground vairagya. Somebody, maybe even unrelated to you, you see somebody in the neighborhood pass away young. What did the person not have? The whole life was ahead of this fellow. Had a wife, children, everything, passed away young. Suddenly, out of the blue, no warning. Sudden car wreck, or just did not get up in the morning one day. And then you being of the same age, in the same neighborhood, obviously there is a sense of not just a kinship but an identification. Oh my God, this could have happened to me. And then you start questioning the meaning of life. What is this life anyway? Look, he had everything going for him. Where is he? He's reduced to ashes and dust. There is that expression, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's just dust. So because the people, they are in the neighborhood, you go to the funeral, you go to the memorial, you say, I don't want anything. My life is, what is this life? Come on, let's look at the meaning of this life. This has no meaning. Here we are accumulating SD cards thinking that this is the meaning of our lives. This is nothing. And then you say, I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I'm going to pursue this knowledge. That is, if you have an idea that this knowledge is available. I'm going to just, spend my life in serving others, perhaps, if you don't have the access to this knowledge. This is what the person thinks. I'm going to just be of help to everybody. What is there to live? This feeling comes. Until it is the time for the next meal. If it's not on the table, then all the vairagya goes. Yes. How come you didn't put salt in the food? A person is fighting, Yeah. So this is what is called jihasa vairagya or shmashana vairagya in the Shastra. So the first Shrotriyasya cha Akamahatasya, that Akamahata, has got this kind of Vairagya, and it frequently brings the person to the knowledge also. Because you say, what is this? I'm just going to join an ashram. As though we are waiting for everyone to join ashram, you know. So, I'm going to, and you know, people write letters like this. I'm going to join you, you know, I'm going to join the ashram. Swasthane vishishyante. You know, in your own place you are okay. Yeah. You know, you join yourself. That is the greatest favor. Yeah. And so, this is what the whole thing is. And you know, we try to keep our numbers small so that we have places to go for bhiksha. Yeah. So, then, so the person has this sudden bout of vairagya. So the first Shrotriyasya Jakamahatasya, when it is there in the text, that means it's the person with baby vairagya who enjoys, you know, perhaps just a little bit of ananda. Correct? Yeah. And also the first Shrotriya is the one who has attended the aforementioned half a retreat. Yeah. Other half the time was somewhere else. And so the first Shrotriyasya cha Akamahatasya is the baby nascent vairagya. And don't get me wrong, this Jihasa vairagya or Smashana vairagya is not wrong, it's a starting place. We acknowledge it as a starting place, and if you have the good punya and the good buddhi to get the right teacher at that time, that Jihasa vairagya is converted into a permanent vairagya. It becomes a very good stepping stone for that. You have to start somewhere. So Adi Shankara says, at that level, the nascent Shravanam, little bit Tattvamasi, little bit Aham Brahmasmi, little bit this and that, thoda Vedanta, V for Vedanta, that much they know, And they know that the breaking of the Sandhi Vedanta is not Vedanam Dantah, the teeth of Vedanta, they know that. Vedanam Antah, the end. Anta means end. That's why Ananta means unending, endless, limitless. So that which doesn't have an end. So they know that much. And they know there is something to pursue. What is not very clear, it's all very amorphous. If somebody asks, what did you study at the retreat? I think you should also attend. They will very diplomatically say, next one you please attend. It was a real wonderful experience. So Adi Shankara says, the extent to which you command this vairagya and the extent to which your command of the knowledge is there, that is the extent of the increasing ananda, which is a very sound interpretation, very nice. Very beautiful. So when you get this first level, of ananda, how to get the first level of ananda? Impossible situations have to, conjure up. And the stars have to be in the correct place at the birth time of this fellow. Really. Otherwise, how to have balam, strength, intelligence, breeding, character, samskaras, culture, memory, good education, brilliance, and and all the riches of the universe. How is that possible? It's an impossibility. But what is the possibility? Is to slowly gain the vairagya. Vairagya gaining is not enough. What else do I have to gain? I have to gain the knowledge. So the growing clarity and the growing vairagya get married in the heart of this person and lead to a growing command of one's ananda. Ananda here is really freedom. The freedom to appreciate without wanting to possess. This is what we are talking about. Usually in the beginning, what is there? The world is divided into two. Correct? Oh, I know, Atma and Anatma. No, that is the Vedantins' view. We are talking of a regular fellow in the street. The world is divided into two. What is that? Mine, not yet mine. Mine and not yet mine. And of course, the not yet mine category, which is bigger, not yet mine category is naturally bigger. So the whole attempt of this jumping jiva is to make this category of mine bigger and bigger and bigger. They cannot even pass a flower, like, outside all these beautiful flowers are growing, without urging to pick it up, knowing full well that, it will not last in my hand. Even as I pick it up, it will start to wilt. Knowing full well. And it's not that they are offering it for worship, they are wanting it for themselves. Yeah. This doesn't apply to people in this room, but what I'm saying, outside, this is what it is generally. Generally, the thing is that the vairagya that one commands is nil. You cannot even pass by anything without wishing. If you can't have it, you wish for it. If you can have it, you grab it. Yeah, that is what it is. There is no dharma. There is no feeling, I don't know who it belongs to. My way is the right way. First come, first serve. These are the building blocks of the culture behind all these so-called first world or capitalist countries. Correct? These are the building blocks. And so here it is just whoever comes first has the right to it. And this kind of a person who does not command even the basic vairagya is going to be a very miserable person. Why? Because what I don't have overpowers what I have. Is it not correct? Yeah. And so my whole attempt is in trying to gain what I don't have. This is what is called yoga and kshema. Apraptasya prapanam yoga. That which I don't have, I want to gain. That is called yoga. Technical terms. Like I said, this will come of use in potlucks and parties. You can impress your friends and loved ones if you have a few Sanskrit words. And then kshema is what? Praptasya rakshanam. So once I have gained it, then I have to appoint a security person to take care of everything that I have. That's why everything has alarms, in this country. Very alarming fact. You can't even enter a house without things going. There is one lady that will talk. You have breached the code, something like that. This happened to me. I was staying in someone's house, visiting. And they said, here, have the key. But one thing they forgot is to give this stupid code. Yeah. I thought, oh, I have the key. I opened and went in. And all these bells, whistles and screaming noises and all these things. And then another bell and whistle outside. And then that police came. Yeah. I didn't call the police. They themselves came. Yeah. And then thankfully by that time the owner also had been cell-phoned and summoned. Owner also came. Otherwise I think, the story would have ended differently. Thankfully they came in time and they said, oh, we know. I was surprised to see the police. I said, I didn't call. How nice of you to come. I thought they were coming to help, but that was not the incorrect assumption. So this is kshema, okay? Praptasya rakshanam. So you build the dream house, and then the dream house, it cannot just be your own dream house, it is simultaneously everyone's dream house, correct? And your dream house will have the possessions which belong to other people's dream, correct? So, praptasya rakshanam, so you have to have all these alarming alarms all over the place, and these flashing lights, lights that suddenly go on, when people walk under it, automatically it goes on, all these things you have to do. This is called kshema. So the yoga and kshema become the primary pursuits of the person with no vairagya, the person with no shravanam. Shravanam means listening to the knowledge. All the time the mind is there. How to increase my possessions, how to protect my possessions, how to get more. This is where the person is at, or kahin nahi. This is where the person gets stuck. This is a low level, life. Really. I'm not saying that. Upanishad says that. Upanishad calls such a person Kripana, the most confused person on the universe. We have an expression, confused makhi juice. Yeah. Meaning, if a fly accidentally falls into this fellow's cup of tea, he will not throw away the fly without giving it a good, suck first. Why? Because any drops, microscopic drops of tea, he doesn't want to let go of. That much Vairagya is also not. Disgusting as the metaphor is, that's the meaning. The Shastra has its own, definition of who is a stingy, miserly person. The Shastra says the most miserly person is the one who does not pursue this knowledge, who doesn't become a Shrotriya. Yajnavalkya, the sage, laments. Yajnavalkya says to Gargi, is the sage who is supposed to, who has been asked by King Janaka to bring together a group of scholars in a sabha. So she has to test everybody. So she tests Yajnavalkya. She says, Kaha Kripanaha, who is the most confused person. Without batting an eyelid, sage Yajnavalkya says, Bho Gargi, O Gargi, Yaha Asmat Lokat Praiti, the one who departs away from this universe. Praiti means Prakarshena, Eti means goes and doesn't come back. That's the idea. Eti means comes back, goes, has the prospect of coming back. But the one who goes without coming back means departs from this world. Atmanam aviditva, without knowing oneself. Saha Kripanaha, that is the most confused person. What is the connection? Because the person has been hoarding the brain cells. The brain cells are given only to pursue this knowledge, not to try to make money, not to try to make the not mine into mine. That's not the reason why one is blessed with this intellect, this buddhi, which only the human life has. No other life has this. I'm told online a lot of dogs and cats take my classes. Yeah. They say, my dog listens better than me. Sometimes people tell me this online, of course. It has not happened so far in the classroom. But online, in the comfort of the own home, the dog will come and sit at the appointed time. The cat will sit. Yeah. All the dogs are sitting in and listening, and one person told me, even better than me, the dog listens. I said, how do you know it's listening better? Because the person said the dog went like this, cocked the ear and listened. But even though the dog is told, I can teach the dog, no problem. In fact, it will be easier sometimes because there is no resistance, Yeah. I can teach the dog. Your name is just a spelling mistake. Actually, you are G-O-D, not D-O-G. Yeah. What is the use? Correct? It doesn't have the infrastructure to assimilate and enjoy this knowledge. Dog can listen, no problem. Cat also can listen. But it doesn't have the infrastructure to assimilate the knowledge, which only the human being has. And if you waste the life without pursuing this knowledge, you come under Yajnavalkya's definition of the most confused person. Yeah. Even beating this mosquito, the one who does not even spare the mosquito, that person also. So, and therefore, we have to understand this very, very clearly. Is that the growth of the Vairagya is nothing to be afraid of. Because people are afraid of this knowledge because I'll get Vairagya. and I'll have to leave my family, and I'll have to leave my possessions, and I'll have to leave my friends and then come join the ashram. Were it so easy, really? Were it so easy, Adi Shankara would not have spent his short life of 32 years writing treatises for all the Brahma Sutras, each and every Upanishad, each and every Bhagavad, the chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He would not have spent that life. He would have gone on a holiday and enjoyed kept on enjoying the contemplation and the glory of himself. The reason why the sages, somebody asked the question, why do the sadhus teach? Why do they, disseminate this teaching? Is because they are compassionate and they see the need for this teaching. That is why they teach. It's not that it's anything to get for themselves. And so this is what the whole thing is. And Adi Shankara says that the growth of the Vairagya, it's nothing to be afraid of. What is there to be afraid of? Oh, I lose something. We are only fixated on loss. What about what you are gaining? You are gaining Anantyam. You are gaining that which cannot even be described in name. You are gaining a certain freedom that you have longed for and tried to fill up this gap, this longing, by having possessions, thinking that is going to fill it up. But when you empty yourself of this notion that these possessions are going to take me from place A to place B, when you question that notion, when you inquire into that, it becomes abundantly clear that what I am seeking is what I really am, what I already am. So therefore I said you have to cross over from being a mumukshu to jignasu, seeker of knowledge, because I already am what I seek, so I stop seeking. Stop seeking in the wrong place. And seeking in the correct place is seeking this knowledge. So the knowledge, paradoxically, requires Vairagya and also furthers Vairagya. And which is a very good thing. So Vairagya doesn't mean giving up things, even though that is frequently what is, how it is defined. Vairagya means being dispassionate about what you have. You can have things without possessing them. That's why even the saints, even the renunciants, we don't take a vow of poverty, like in certain other traditions. Nowhere does it say you have to be wedded to poverty. A sannyasi is not wedded to poverty, wedded to Ishvara, not to poverty. Because it's not about riches or poverty. It's about the spiritual poverty of alleviating the spiritual poverty of feeling I don't have. Something will be taken away. That is what one is seeking to alleviate. It's not about having things. It's about your relationship to the things that you have. That's the difference between a rented house, and an owned house, correct? There is this story told of the person who was living in a friend's house. The friend went away somewhere to the Middle East and let this family stay in this house. And the family stayed there. This man and his family stayed there 2 years, 3 years. And the friend was kind enough to say, I have a good job there. You don't need to pay rent, just pay the taxes and utilities and enjoy. And every day, this man who lived in the house thought himself so blessed. He said, I have a free house. How nice my friend is. What a lovely house. Look at the walls, look at the curtains, look at the garden. Everybody will die to have this house. Then one day when something came in the registered certified mail, and he opened, and to his shock it was a deed to the house, deeded to him. And the friend said, I'm settling here. I'm not coming back. And since you and your family always write and say, such a wonderful gift this has been, I want to gift you this house. Have fun, enjoy. And he receives this 1 minute of unadulterated joy. Calls his wife, calls his family. Oh, look at what has happened to us. Fortune is not just smiling, she's laughing at us, she's blessing us with laughter. Look at this. 1 minute they hugged each other and enjoyed, they jumped up and down. Next minute what happened? He said, the wife said, because he's close to his friend, he's not going to have that thought. The spouse said, wait a minute, is there anything wrong with this place? That's why he's giving this to us. Maybe, yesterday I felt some shaky sensation while out on the deck. Maybe that balcony, is not okay. We have to get the inspector to come first. He says, yeah, you are also correct, yes. So they have just gone and received the mail, they were outside, and they turned around, they made a U-turn to go in the house. Suddenly they saw a crack next to the door. Oh no! This crack all the way from ceiling to floor. Horrible. Then the children started to look for all the weeds in the garden and horrible thing, and suddenly, and then the wife said, oh my God, such a lot of work. He said, why? Because the whole interior has to be redesigned now that it's my house. All the curtains, there was nothing wrong with the curtains. Correct? Everything was fine. And then what? Suddenly the curtains became just passé. This is just belongs to the 80s and the 90s. We are now in the new millennium. We need new millennium curtains. We need to upgrade everything. Carpet has to be torn apart, everything has to be torn apart. So much stress, so much mess, kitchen has to be remodeled. Yeah. I don't know why, always the kitchens, big. And then people say, I think we should eat out after the kitchen. We never go to eat out. This is the Jiva's paradox. Kitchen has to be remodeled, bathroom is leaking, this is, So this leaking, freaking, everybody is freaked out now. And, and this previously rented house left them with big rents in the heart, rents in the budget. Rents means big holes. Yeah. So you're not able to enjoy. You see, this is the difference. For 3 years they stayed in the same house with the same curtain, same kitchen, same garden, same crack from the door to the ceiling. You were not bothered by it. But as soon as you think it is yours, then you immediately want termite inspection and everything. The termites are in the head, not in the foundation. Yeah. They are eating away at the brain cells and eating away at the viveka. Eating away at the vairagya. That is where the termites are sitting, not in the foundation. This is what it is. So, Adi Shankara advises a hotel approach. Like now you have enjoyed 2 days of the Forsyth Saga. That's actually a book. Yeah. It's called the Forsyth Saga. It's a story of 3 generations of the Forsyths. Classic. Yeah. Here in Forsyth, we have enjoyed this room. We have enjoyed everything. Without possessing, we have been able to enjoy our accommodations. Correct? Yeah. And anything we have, we say, oh my God, how wonderful. This motel comes with meals and also tea breaks. Unheard of. How nice. This motel comes with meditation. This motel comes with the teaching. What a wonderful thing. And then, you check out. Literally, not figuratively, okay? Figuratively, don't check out yet. You check out, and then you give that card, here it is, yeah. You give the card at the front desk, you say, okay, thank you very much, and enjoyed the stay, we'll see you again. At the next retreat or the next time we come here, we will enjoy you again. Thank you so much. So when you moved in, when you came Saturday, correct? So did you bring your own interior decoration and start changing the curtains? No, nobody will do this mad thing. And start changing, this is not matching and I want a different comforter and I don't like the painting above the bed and I want to change that artwork over the bed. And while the bathroom is only white in color, I want to make it colored tiles. No, nobody is calling all the people and having the work done. The thought itself is preposterous. Why? Because you say it doesn't matter, I'm here for 2 days, correct? And I'm here, I'm enjoying the motel as a offshoot to the retreat. What is the primary purpose of my coming here? The retreat. Not to sit in the motel. That is not the purpose. Because if I had to sit in the motel, I wouldn't be coming now. I would come later, when there was no retreat going on. So the purpose is to attend the retreat. The purpose is to gain the knowledge, because while gaining the knowledge, certain other needs have to be taken care of. The need for 8 hours sleep, the need for, resting the body, resting the back, the need for just having some time alone. All that has to be taken care of. So incidentally, I have this room, correct? This room that has been given to me. Incidentally. I have this room. Incidentally, I am enjoying this room. And then when I check out, I can give back the key and not have any worry about its upkeep, correct? I do the needful. If I see that the faucet is, little loose, I have to turn it a little harder so that the water doesn't keep dripping, I do that. I tighten the tap, the faucet. But that is the extent of my relationship with this room, correct? Yeah. If this we can do to our dwelling places, then the Vairagya increases to the level of Indra, Prajapati, Brihaspati, and actually let us extend it a little more. So, if we can do this with relation to our dwelling places, our own house, if we can treat it as a motel, that doesn't mean you don't do whatever is needed for the upkeep. You upkeep it. Keep it up by all means. But nothing beyond that. You are not living in the carpets. You are not living in the modeled kitchen. You are not living in the curtains. You are not living in the artwork. You are just there. It has been given to you by Bhagavan, and we are going to see that what that Bhagavan is, etc. And the importance of that in gaining Ananda we are going to see in the next session. But this has been a gift by Bhagavan to me, by Ishvara, to take care of the best I can. If you can have this kind of an attitude to the dwelling place, your Vairagya will increase at least to the level of the chaiwalas, the celestial chaiwalas. Who are they? Manushya Gandharvas. Yeah. So one level of Manushya's Ananda, human Ananda, multiplied by 100 you will enjoy. All because of Vairagya, correct? All because of treating your own house as a hotel. You don't try to change anything. This is a beautiful teaching, really. This is what Adi Shankara says. He doesn't give the example of motels, because in those days they had chaul trees. Same thing. And the extent to which I enjoy this Vairagya is concomitantly connected to the increase in my happiness. Yeah. And Vairagya is very difficult to maintain without Shravanam. Yeah. Shravanam is the booster for this Vairagya. So even if one has Jihasa Vairagya, that funeral ground Vairagya, to maintain it you require Shravanam. To increase it you require the teaching. So the dwelling place becomes a hotel when your purpose is to pursue the teaching. Yeah. So the house is a means for what? For gaining knowledge. My purpose is to gain knowledge. The house is just a place to live, eat, sleep, and have a few moments of relaxation. When you can have that attitude to the house, then your Ananda increases to the chaiwala level, celestial, not the local. Yeah. Local chaiwalas, nobody is interested. oh, this is sounding very good. I'm going to go home and do this. Please do that. Because everybody says, we need some practical tips. This is not a practical tip. I don't know what else this is. It is a tip of ignorance. This is not a practical tip. You cannot get more pragmatic than this. Treat the house as a hotel. Yeah. If you want, have it rekeyed to this kind of a system. Then the Vairagya is more. Even the car. Nowadays you can have this kind of. So as soon as you take out the car to get in the house, then you remember, yeah, oh, okay, this is, you put it in and take it out. Yeah. And that is a very interesting way, because that means you are going in and coming out. That is what it symbolizes. The motel owners also don't want to for very long. Yeah, that's why they give this kind of a key. Put it in quickly and take it out. It shows the impermanence of everything. So make your dwelling place. Rekey it if you want, mentally at least. Definitely rekey it mentally. And or put a little, even if you don't want to go through the trouble of rekeying it, on your key, put Motel 6, you write on that, on a little thing. You write a little small sticker. You put a sticker, you can get so many stickers in the market, you buy one colored sticker and put. And if you say, no, I think this is not Motel 6, this is Hilton, put Hilton. No, this is Sheraton, because this is Dream House. Put Sheraton, no problem. Yeah. Put Sheraton, put whatever it is, whatever big Astoria, New York, put that.
No, that's why the byline for Motel 6 is, we leave the light on for you.
Ah, that's right, yeah. So, so you put whatever your favorite chain, you put that. Top of the line, fine, theek hai. Still a motel, correct? Even if you are staying at Sheraton, you have to give back the key, correct? Even if you take it home, the next day you try, it will not work. They would have changed the code. That is how to live in one's own house. To enjoy what? Manushya Gandharvanam Anandaha. Because then, by this time, the Vairagya has increased. And Shravanam, what you are doing right now is Shravanam. So the Shravanam has kicked in a little bit, assimilated. Yeah, but how to get the next level? What is after that? Deva te shatam manushya gandharvanam anandaha sa eko deva gandharvanam anandaha. The celestial chaiwalas has a boss, correct? The one to whom the chai is being served. How to get that level? For that also हमारे पास है. There is a very practical tip. रखा है. I have it. You have to have the same motel attitude towards the loved ones. अय्यो up till now ये क्या कर दिया? You have just poured cold water. You should have better poured cold water on my head. Up till now the class was so enjoyable. Now you have plummeted me into the depths of depression. Now you say I have to look at my child as a rented child. How am I going to bond with it? Rented child means what? How to, this is not fair. And what is this? You should have told me this before I had the child. Now I have the child, now you are telling me this. After I have bonded and gotten attached to it. Then I have to think of my spouse as a rented spouse. That may be easier, but but I want to think of the child as the rented child. This is not good. It's not that I purchased them on Craigslist. One lady tried to sell the child. She was caught. Sell a 6-month-old or 8-month-old, she said. And thankfully somebody reported her without buying the child. Yeah. So this is a big thing. So you say now I want to climb to the next level. Who doesn't? So I want to get to the Deva Gandharva's Ananda. So here again, we have to go back to our own scriptures. Bhagavad Gita tells how to do this. And the Bhagavad Gita has one word. What is that? Prasada buddhya. Svikuru sarvam. Svikuru means accept everything. From the point of view that this is a gift given to me. Yeah. This is a gift. So the child I don't own. It is sent to me by Bhagavan to enjoy for a brief period of time until it hits teenage. Yeah. Because after that they're not going to listen anyway, even if they did listen before. It is something given to enjoy. And I happen to be in a place to teach it a few things, to give it a few values. What I know, what I have been taught, I pass along. I enjoy the child. Today we saw in the meditation. I enjoy it. I can, discipline it and all this. But I enjoy it without seeing it as an extension of myself. This is the problem in the parenting, especially in the immigrant communities. One, has a hard life coming here, relocating, and all these things. And so one wants to inculcate in the children all of one's desires that one was not able to meet. This, not just to the immigrant community, everybody does this, but I see this more in the immigrant community. This is called tiger parenting. Tiger mom. You don't know tiger mom? Yeah. You know tiger mom? Yeah. Tiger mom is like, is the one who will never appreciate the child. The child goes backward, does a backward flip worthy of Olympics. You can do better. Tiger mom says. The child comes first in everything. Except in elocution. Why? Because it's silenced all the time. Poor thing, how will it talk? Yeah. You should do better in this. Why haven't you done better in this? The child already speaks two languages. The one that is spoken at home and the one that is spoken outside, English. How come you don't know Sanskrit? The child also knows Sanskrit. Yes, but you don't know the swaras of the Vedic chanting. You chanted Gayatri Mantra wrong. I heard you at the retreat. This is tiger mom. I don't know why mom. I'm sure there are tiger dads too. Yeah. Moms need not get a bad name. Tiger mom is a upalakshana for tiger parenting. And why tiger? Because always growling, always ornery, always irritable. What is this? And then you better, if you are that kind of a person, if one is that kind of a parent, my advice to you is better set up a trust fund for lifelong therapy for the child. It's going to need it. Because so much devaluation. Tremendous devaluation. The tiger mom. Tiger mom is not seeing the child as a prasada. Seeing a child as something to be manipulated, molded to suit one's own unrequited needs. One is using the child to fulfill those needs. That is why one needs Shravanam. And then, is that the only kind of parenting that is not? No, there is one more parenting that I want to discuss. What is that? Helicopter parents. Ooh, they sound interesting. What are they? We'll see that in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. Announcements?
Yeah, just it's literally yeah, okay. Time to check out, as Swami said.
Don't check out literally.
Literally
Yeah.
check out, not figuratively.
Not figuratively, yeah.
Yeah. So I think for the hotel the checkout time is 11 o'clock. So maybe during the break time you can go and check out. And then there are CDs at the back, which I just wanted to remind if anyone wants to. Someone asked about the meditation CD. There's a meditation CD and other CDs of the previous programs, and Swamiji said there's a Panchadashi and there's a Mundaka Upanishad. So if anyone is interested,
I want to
please
say
take a
something
look.
about meditation CDs. Can I say?
Yes, I think somebody was asking. Yeah. Huh?
The meditation CDs are wonderful, really. They are a gift. We have two kinds. One is, I think, 16 long meditations. 16 or 15, I forgot. And these long meditations cover various topics. The tracks are already there. And they are about 45 minutes, so that when you have the time for 45 minutes, you can do that. And can I show some online also? Can you please bring me the CDs, Shobha? Yeah. Both the Shobhas got up. Very nice. So, this is the one. This green one is the one. This one here was released by Swamiji a few years ago. 3-4 years ago. Now by popular demand it is reprinted, and that's because we ran out of the copies that were earlier made. This is a reprint, and this one has 16 or so meditations and long meditations on a variety of topics. And when you have the time, you can do this with your family, and it's guided meditation, meaning you will be guided what to do, and it's very beautiful. And then the other one is for people who are very busy and don't have the time to meditate, or so they thought. And this is meditations for every day of the week. So how many should be there in this? 7. Yeah. 7 meditations, all under 10 minutes. Yeah. And if you say, I cannot afford 10 minutes, come and see me after class. So this is, you cannot say I cannot afford this. Of course you can have 10 minutes. And so the 10 minutes on various topics, freedom from obstacles, and some of them are dedicated to various gaining the grace of devatas in the form of prayers from Ganesha onwards. And one of them is also Gayatri Mantra. It is based on the explaining the Gayatri Mantra. So these two are wonderful. Whereas the others? Bring. What all is there, bring. We will talk about all that. This is all thanks to Shobha and Parshuraman. They are running this CD unit very, very wonderfully. And very economically, as it turns out. And this one is the latest one that Swamiji released on August 25th. And this is called Talks on the Mundaka Upanishad. This is the last retreat, correct? Yeah, the last Atlanta retreat. So this is like a refresher course, and those who could not come, you can also look into that. This was released by Swamiji last year. This is Guru Paduka Stotram. Means the 8 verses, not just how to chant, but explanation, a detailed explanation of all of it. And then we have the 8th chapter of the Panchadashi, which comes with a booklet of transliteration and translation in the back. So this is the 8th chapter of the Panchadashi. This was also released by Swamiji last fall. And so we have all these offerings here. So this is something, people say, what should I take home? Now I have had a good time, but what do I do when I go home? So these are some things you can do and support the CD publication unit, which they have started so nicely. Thank you.
Yes, wanted to.
The week-long program.
Yes, that's what wanted to remind you. This evening there is a session at Banu and Rajagopal's house, and that topic is freedom from stress. So please, you're welcome to that. She's not here, she was here yesterday, and so she's invited all whosoever can come. And
She
the
left
address
before
is,
she could get stressed.
so it's at 6 o'clock this evening, and the address is 1260 Timberline Place, which is it's in the emails. If you want, after this you can If you want the address, I can give it to you. It's in Alpharetta. It's near the, that's close to the, it's a Webbridge School. Webbridge School is there. Abbotsbridge,
You have the flyer for that? No idea.
He is the flyer.
And then following that, we have there's a week-long session, morning sessions and evening sessions. The morning sessions are at Shobha Ishwar's place, which is 5740 Reserve Circle, right?
You have
And
that.
that is,
we have
that is
that.
also Alpharetta, Seven Oaks subdivision. It's on McGuinness Ferry. So,
Please, all of us, all of you
please come to that. It's from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And the topic is Nirvana Shaktam. It's Adi Shankaras again. It's a very nice, again, conducive for meditation. And then the evening sessions are on, it's on Tuesday through Friday is at 7 to 8 a.m. Saturday is, I think, 8 to 9:30 right? So it's, a.m. And evening sessions are in Highlands subdivision, which is actually the same subdivision where Banu is staying. So it's in the clubhouse of that subdivision, the same that Webbridge School, middle school, near that it is. And the topic is Kaupina Panchakam or Yati Panchakam, which Swamiji had referred in these sessions here. And that's again probably help again increasing the
increasing
Vairagya.
Right.
So
Vairagya, how
it's a
to increase
continuation.
without heart attack.
So please do come, all of you are welcome for those are, again, free sessions, there's no charge or anything, so please come.
Tea break. And what is the time of the next class?
10.
Huh?
10.
10? We'll make 10 to what?
11.
10 to
10 to 11?
10 to 11. And then there is
No, read from here, please. What is the time of the next? Don't go, I may change the time of the next class. What is the
so
time?
10 to 11:15.
Yeah, so we'll meet at, we'll make it 10:15 to 11:15. Okay?
So that
And the
is-
following class will be 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
So we reconvene here in 25 minutes exactly. Make it 20 minutes, no, more than that. Half an hour.
35 minutes.
No, half an hour. Say half an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have some time
You
to
will
check
have
out.
some time to check out
Yeah.
and come back in half an hour. And then, so that is, we'll meet at 10:15 to 11:15 Eastern time. And then the next class will be a short break, 11:30 to 12:15.
Okay.
Why? One more class.
Our son
Where does he have to go?
We have the friend goes to Chicago.
Okay. But week long I will see you, right? He's not good back.
we are
If you want to offer, anybody wants, is leaving, they can offer Guru Dakshina.
We are coming back.
Okay, you're coming back.
Even our family will not say give action. We go back to India.
Usha is my teach Balavi
That's why.
Exactly, you are working on that. Yeah, she will come. It's on that.
Ah, that's good. Okay, see, are you coming mainly with that? Banaraj.
Banaraj. Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, people say, okay. Oh, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಹೌದಾ ಹೌದಾ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ? ಚೆನ್ನೈಗೆ ಏನು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದಾ ಹಾಂ ಹೌದಾ
ले बेटा जल्दी. कौन नाची ने कर दी है काली खिचड़ी में गुड आइडिया नहीं कोने लोगों ने 10:30 ये पहला मम्मा डैडी अंदर जाए છે 11 વાગે રૂમ આપતા હોય પૈસા છે
What person? No, that has I don't know. This is good now. If I eat more, it'll be good.
have those oranges.
I saw like Joshika and Namita also like studying.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, like
They left at 2.
Really? Oh, I didn't realize.
The bad part is mummy didn't sleep. I'm like, what is this madness?
My
Woke
mom didn't
up.
sleep.
She's calling you every hour on here.
It's her fault.
We told her.
Yeah.
I told her that. Today she talked about it.
What?
Tiger mom, helicopter mom.
Oh.
Perfect apt.
Yeah.
I hope we've turned this off.
But Srinaran ji has